Hello everyone, on a Tuesday afternoon, Win here with an update on Tropical Storm Isaias, which is expected to impact the entire forecast area within the next 12 to 24 hours. Now, the heaviest rainfall out of this one is actually going to be to the west. We're talking about the Connecticut River Valley, into Vermont, into the Northeast Kingdom, and probably into the Berkshires as well. Those are the areas where that rainfall from the center of Isaias is really going to pack on and stack up. Now, the strongest winds out of this one are going to be in the mountains and also along the coastline. We're going to be seeing a southeast wind, which is onshore, so areas that are facing the water are probably going to see some of the stronger gusts out of this system. Now, with any tropical storm or hurricane, you can sometimes get some embedded microbursts or even some weak spin-up tornadoes, and Isaias is no exception to that. We've seen dozens upon dozens of tornado warnings off to our south, and that threat should diminish some as it gets here, but it wouldn't shock me if we get some reports of a little spin-up in some of those outer bands of the storm. Now, this thing is really moving along, so I think flooding, both coastal and inland, is probably not a very huge issue due to the simple fact that this thing will be in and out within a few-hour period. Now, timing out everything on our future radar, you'll notice that there's already some showers and embedded thunderstorms getting into western and southern parts of our forecast area. And that's going to continue to spread to the north and east as we head later into this afternoon and especially into this evening. You'll notice how the really heavy stuff is centered in Vermont and just west to our forecast area, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to see some squalls and some of those outer rain bands of Isaias try to impact our area as well. Now, moving forward here, this thing is a quick mover. By around midnight or 1 a.m., the worst of it is already spreading into Canada and into eastern Maine. And by the time we're waking up tomorrow morning, the sun will probably be shining pretty much area-wide. A really quick moving storm. Now, taking a look at our expected rainfall amounts, this is a rainfall map, not a snowfall map like I usually make. And as you can see, those highest totals, once again, are going to be over Vermont and perhaps into western New Hampshire as well, where we could see 2 to 5 inches of rain. There's a potential that if we get consistent thunderstorm activity and consistent convection during Isaias, that we could see some totals approach half a foot of total rainfall. That's really heavy stuff. But as you head east, that rainfall quickly shuts off as you get away from the center of the system here. 1 to 2 inches is looking likely for central New Hampshire, into the White Mountains, and into the Monadnock region as well. Only a ½ inch to an inch of rain, though, is expected for our interior zones that are outside of the mountains. We're talking about the Lakes region, Worcester Hills, places like that. That's where we're probably only going to see about a ½ inch to an inch of total rain. And the least amount of rain is actually going to be along the coastline, which is pretty bizarre for a tropical system, where a lot of areas probably won't even get a ½ inch of rain, which is really going to not be very helpful when it comes to the drought that we're seeing along the coastline at the moment. Now, finally here, these are some of the peak wind gusts that we're likely going to see from this storm as it moves into our area. These winds are quite damaging. Numbers like this in the winter usually aren't a huge concern because there's no leaves on the trees. But with fully leaved trees, 45 to 55 miles per hour does create the potential for some widespread power outages. And especially this red area here through the Berkshires and into southern Vermont where the center comes right through. That's where gusts could be in the 55 to 60, perhaps even up to 65 mile per hour range, which is definitely damage inducing. The further northeast you go, similar to the rain, that's probably where you're going to see only 35 to 45 mile per hour gusts, which in any time of the year, us New Englanders can handle pretty much no problem. So that's it for Isaias. This thing will be out of here by Wednesday morning, and I'll have more updates on Twitter as we go through the night.